Hello everyone, this is Galaxy TV News. I am Kelly Egiga, and here are our top stories. Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo pays a condolence visit to the leader of Afenifere, Fashoranti. Professor Wole Soyinka calls for national conference. Outside Nigeria, United Nations wants Libya detention centers shut down. We'll bring you details of this story and more in just a moment. Many thanks indeed for joining us on the news tonight. To our first story, Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo has paid a condolence visit on the leader of Afenifere, Reuben Fashoranti, whose daughter was gruesomely murdered on the highway along Ore-Lagos Road. The Vice President condemned the attack on Funke Olakori and many other Nigerians who had, in one way or the other, encountered criminals. They have turned for the forests across the country as their hideouts to unleash terror on innocent people. Addressing newsmen at the country home of the elder statesman, Professor Osinbajo said the government is currently working on modalities to strengthen community policing.
That's why we have the community policing system, where policemen will be trained in their own local governments and they will remain there. This is as close as we can get, to the community policing structures that we expect to have. The other thing, of course, is that we're also engaging the army so that there will be a bit more military presence, especially along the roads.
He also cautioned those saying the federal government is not doing anything about the state of insecurity in the country, adding that a lot is in the pipeline to improve security networking, including surveillance for intelligence gathering across the country.
Just very recently, not just met with the service chiefs, but also with the Inspector General of Police. They've laid out a new policy. The Inspector General of Police has laid out a new policy of community policing. One of the most important things in these sorts of crimes, because they are largely economic crimes, people trying to make money by kidnapping and all of that.
Now, in a related development, the national leader of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has charged people in the southwest to unite against criminal attacks, which is gradually becoming a daily occurrence in the region. Addressing newsmen when he paid a condolence visit to Afenifere leader over the killing of his daughter in Akure, the Ondo State capital, Tinubu, who condemned the attacks, said a lot needs to be done all over the country to combat kidnapping, banditry and armed robbery. He charged government of the 6 states of Yoruba and the Yoruba land to intensify and annex their security network for a better performance.
But we must not use this incident to divide ourselves. We must use it as a cure to the security problem.
Now, staying with issues of security, the Pan-Yoruba Social-Cultural Group of Afenifere has called on Ondo State and the federal government to exercise thorough investigation into the gruesome killing of Funke Olakuri last Friday. The group believes Funke was a target of assassination, considering the situation where she was the only one that died among the 5 occupants of the vehicle.
This was a targeted killing. You can see that all the bullets were pumped from the side of the car. There was no shots from the other side of the car. They shot and shot and shot. You can see all the bullets placed in the car.
The group also see the killing as a fallout of the 30 days ultimatum issued by a northern group to the federal government to reverse suspension of creation of rural settlement across the nation.
This will spur us to ensure that Funke is the last person they're going to kill and get away with. And that if they are doing this to us when they don't have Ruga, what would they do to us when they have Ruga at our place?
Staying with issues of national interest, Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka has once again called for a national summit to address some of the socio-economic and political challenges facing the country, saying that the current challenges is beyond the capacity of the government in power. Soyinka made this known in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, while playing host to some students on his 85th birthday celebration. While admiring the complexity of governance and its challenges, he, however, admonished the students to continue to work hard to add value for a better Nigeria. He said though the session was meant to mentor the younger ones, it would not be complete without his comment on the state of the nation.
Period. We were literally under occupation. So there's always been a major problem I've had with successive governments. It's easier on the state level to say that this particular state is definitely doing better than another state. But the central government, I'm afraid, has failed, that's my view, in the main, to really serve the people intelligently, creatively, and be even-handed in their apportionment of facilities to various areas of the nation. Look at what's happening today. How is it possible for me?
Professor Soyinka, however, called for a national conference where all the challenges could be addressed for the good of all.
That the problems of this nation are completely beyond it. That's a first admission. And thereby, stop thinking in terms of partisan government. It's got to form, in my view, a government of across political parties, in which they forget their allegiances and really confront this nation as a habitation of human beings, where very serious issues, economic, health, security, etc., etc.
Now to Abuja, the nation's capital, where the chief whip of the Senate, Orji Uzor Kalu, has faulted the position of those who criticize the president, Muhammadu Buhari, over his choice of security chiefs, whom they say does not reflect federal character, as they are drawn mainly from the north. Fielding questions from journalists, the senator said the president has the sole choice of deciding who he prefers to handle the issues bordering on his security and that of the country, noting also that there have been precedents set by other former Nigerian heads of state and president.
The president. They are not really constitutionally owned, because you can only work with military men you trust. That is the truth. Whether you want to hear that or not, I can take you to memory lane. All the people that have been heads of state, they just did the same thing the president did. So there's nothing new.
The former Abia State governor said the controversial Rugo settlement for Fulani herdsmen is a much misunderstood subject, adding that the fears being expressed in some quarters are unfounded and blown out of proportion. Kalu therefore urged the Nigerian government to hold wider consultations before embarking on the Rugo settlement project to check the attendant tensions it had come with. You're watching the news on Galaxy TV. We are due for a break, but still to come, stakeholders meet to tackle the menace of cultism and drug abuse. We'll bring you details of this story and more in just a moment. Join us again. You're welcome back. For more updates and latest news, visit our website at www.galaxytvonline.com or subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/GalaxyTV Nigeria. You can follow or interact with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/GalaxyTV or tweet at us at GalaxyTV. Don't forget to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at Official Galaxy TV. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live updates and comment. Now, moving on to other stories. Youth and young adults have been charged to curb the menace of substance and drug abuse as well as cult-related activities in an interactive meeting organized by the Nigeria Policing Program (NPP) in collaboration with the Catholic Church of the Holy Spirit, Omole Phase 1. The organizers harp on the need for tackling the vices.
To the issue of cultism, drug abuse, and sexual and gender-based violence, the community, which is the Christian community, plays a crucial role in ensuring that these vices is reduced to the barest minimum. And as this community that cuts across both parents, youth, teens, the clergies, the religious leader, we feel is an important issue that we need to bring to their forefront and for them to take it forward.
To educate the parents on what is going on in the society today, because the parents, they send their children to school, but unfortunately the children, they subject themselves to peer influence and other things that are not expected of a good Christians.
Statistics say 60% of robbers are cultists, hence the facilitators speak on the need for parents to strike a better relationship with their children, while another speaks on the impact of peer pressure.
It used to be an exclusive proclivity of people in higher institutions. There is cultism in secondary schools, there is cultism on the street, artisans, people who do not have the psychological ability to control emotions, to control power, are involved in cultism. That is why you see the increase in violence.
In fighting the menace of cultism and drug abuse, it's important that youth understand that they have the power to overcome peer influence. It's important to have a strong sense of self, know who you are, know what you are worth, and know what you are in life for. You know your purpose in life.
Parents at the event describe their role as significant in curbing the menace, while some youth speak on lessons learned as well as charge other youths to remain focused.
So today we have a lot of issues surrounding cultism, violent crimes and drug abuse. It has become something that is very pronounced in today's world, especially with our youth. So today we are here to talk to ourselves regarding this issue and see how we can sensitize our youths, try to get them to understand the dangers of the choices that they make.
It is essential that as parents, we pay attention to everything going on around our children. No matter how busy we are, we must give time, spend quality time with our children.
Youth shouldn't fall to peer pressure, hence the peer pressure that leads them into drug abuse, cultism and all that. And also parents should enhance positive parental value to their children.
Whatever you do, always take responsibilities for your actions. Don't let any other person lead you to what you don't want to do.
Now, moving on away from all of that, the Prison Rehabilitation Mission International has called on the federal government to pay urgent attention to prisons reform and work on proper integration of prisoners who have completed their jail term back into the society. The body made this known through its chairman, Oba Adedapo Tejuosu, in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. Correspondent John Felix filed in this report.
It was a celebration of freedom for a man who spent 19 years behind the bars. Adai was one of those arrested and convicted for drugs-related offences in Thailand before the Nigerian government intervened. Derrick said years after more than 300 others who were sent to the country to complete their jail term have been released, he was still behind the bars. He noted that the problem was as a result of an omission of his name on the final list sent to the prison's authorities, and that cost him extra 13 years.
They are released August 1st by Moshe Adua. But very unfortunately, my name was omitted. And I spent money writing for the name to be corrected, but nothing was done. But as God liveth, he did this according to not the way of a man. The story happened that when they brought the list from Abuja, from Asurok, not even from Asurok, from the president himself.
On his part, the Director General, Prison Rehabilitation Mission International, Bishop Kayode Williams, called for more support for the Nigerian prison service.
What we are calling for in Nigerian prison system is one, for any country to survive and look more comfortable for the citizens, the prisons must be taken care of. And the first step in taking care of the prison.
Chairman, Prison Rehabilitation Mission International, Oba Adedapo Tejuosho, also called for the removal of the management of prisons from exclusive list to concurrent list.
I think a cog in the wheel of prison reformation here is the mere fact that the prison system is in the what do you call it now? It's in the federal, there are 3 stages. Exclusively, it's in the exclusive list, all right? I think prisons should be transferred from the exclusive list to the concurrent list.
The ex-convict, who thanked God for bringing him out of prison safely, said he regretted his actions and promised never to return to crime again. John Felix, Galaxy News, Abeokuta, Ogun State.
Now from Ogun State, we take you to Oyo State, where the Federation of International Women Lawyers has condemned the increasing rate of violence among couples in Nigeria, calling for appropriate measures to reduce the trend. The president of the body in Oyo State, Deborah Collins, while speaking with correspondent Kunle Ojo, noted that several innocent lives have been lost to avoidable violence among couples, noting that the Federation has been campaigning against increasing rates of abusive relationship.
We used to advocate for living a relationship that is abusive than staying in that relationship until such violence take the life. Don't forget, it may not even be one may be thinking it is the life of the weaker sex, most especially the women that will be taking. What of if it is the life of the stronger sex, the man in this case, that is taking?
She appealed to couples to build their relationship on trust, stressing that for peace to reign in the society, husbands and wives must live in harmony.
I still say that before a marriage is contracted, there must be proper courtship. Each party must have studied, each other to know that, okay, I can stay with this person.
Away from all of that, now Lagos, with a total population of over 21 million, is plagued with the menace of open defecation, just as other parts of the country. United Nations Children Fund, UNICEF, says not less than 47 million Nigerians still indulge in open defecation, which places Nigeria as second in the world behind India. Our correspondent Amina Ojalabi tells us more in this report.
Lack of toilets has become a major problem in this community, Farajoye, Oworonshoki area of Lagos State. Why people defecate openly and make use of the canals to defecate?
Open defecation is the human practice of excreting in the open. Instead of toilets, people use field, bushes, forest, open bodies of water, among others. The The practice is common where sanitation infrastructure is not available. About 892 million people, or 12% of the global population, practice open defecation. Access to sanitation has been on the decline from 30% in 2010 to 28% in 2015. Open defecation has been on the increase, and there was not a single local government in Nigeria that is open defecation free. According to the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, Nigeria needs additional 2 million toilets annually from 2019 to 2025 to achieve the universal basic sanitation target. The sanitation situation in the country prompted the National Council of Water Resources in 2014 to prioritize the development of a roadmap towards eliminating open defecation in the country. In line with the United Nations Global Campaign for Ending Open Defecation, this initiative tagged Making Nigeria Open Defecation Free by 2025, a national roadmap that was developed by the Federal Ministry of Water Resources.
This is the community called Farawo-Joye in the Orosheki area of Lagos State.
We use nylon. Whenever we use nylon and poo inside, so we throw it inside the canal. It's quite a long time. Almost 2 years now I've been doing it. We use, no, actually in the night they didn't go, but little children like up to a year, 2 years, so they have poo. They will put inside the nylon, then put it inside the poo, we cover it.
The residents of this community explained reasons they couldn't dig toilets. According to them, being a riverine area, when a suckaway is constructed, they usually experience spillage of waste which flows into their houses. This even gets worse during the rainy season. The community leader in this area, who have been living here for 35 years, explains that they don't have clean water and they make use of the water they have. We can't say we have toilets because really we don't have in this area. The pit I digged is the one I use. For others in the community, after they excrete, they throw it inside the canal in the area. I hope government help us build toilets and provide clean water.
So the shit that we have been shitting is entering through the toilet, then through the elbow to the canal. Yeah, the canal is beside our house.
As you can see, is where they call Jordan water. People of this community use the water to bath, wash their clothes, and sometimes drink. James Dada, a resident of the community toilet keeper, explains the reason he collects token from people to use toilets.
What makes me to try to establish the toilet? You understand? Well, we have malas, different kind of human beings around the community, try to mess up all this area. That is why I think there is one area for that place, at that place, when you see where people mess. So that is what makes me try to organize this little place for anybody and take some little money from them to be able to maintain the place.
Poverty, lack of infrastructure contribute to the menace of open defecation. Speaking with a public affairs analyst, Achike Chude, it charges government to help improve the economy.
But beyond that is the fact that we have not been able to grow our country too as the population grows, because there's a connection between the level of poverty that you have in the country and some of these issues you talk about, open defecation and all that. People do not have access to good homes, and shelter, and so people make do with wherever they can find themselves, on the streets, in open fields and all of that. And so you begin to see this, and so the people themselves, you understand, must be able to have access to places where they can answer to the call of nature and all of that. So these things are not exactly there, so what it means is that we have a lot of work to do. We need to educate our people, but like I said, since you know that this is something that must happen, you must answer to the call of nature. Do you have public run toilet facilities where people can also go to instead of doing open defecation?
Research shows open defecation is an issue that can affect everyone, but women are often at more risk. People with limited or no access to toilets predominantly suffered from diarrhea disease, infection, cholera or typhoid outbreak. Government have also been to employ private bodies to set up toilet facilities to create an environment free from open defecation.
Then you don't want to burden them by telling them to provide land where you're going to provide this. So if government, for instance, has designated points all over the state, you understand, they can now encourage private people, to come in and set up these issues and make sure that and set these facilities up and make sure that they are clean. Automatically, if it is privately run, it's going to be clean.
It is a national problem. Everybody must know it's not just a Ekiti problem, it's a national problem. As we speak today, only 14 local government is ODF free, and out of 774 local governments. So it's a national problem. We have set target for ourselves. We have a roadmap to address this menace, building infrastructures that is required. Water supply is required. The state government is investing heavily in our dams and small water schemes.
Sri Sathya says, keep your own house and its surroundings pure and clean. This hygiene will keep you healthy and benefit your worldly life. Amina Ojalabi, Galaxy News, Lagos.
You're watching the news on Galaxy TV. We are due for a break now. But when we come back, we will take you to Oyo State, where the governor of that state, Engineer Seyi Makinde, has expressed his readiness to turn Adeoyo Hospital to a world-class hospital. We'll bring you details of this story and more in just a moment. Join us again. Welcome back. This is the news on Galaxy TV. Now to Oyo State, where the governor of that state, Engineer Seyi Makinde, has expressed his readiness to turn Adeoyo Hospital to a world-class hospital that will be conducive for patients to receive quality treatment. Makinde, during an on-the-spot visit to the hospital Yemitu Ibadan, the state capital, so the visit was to have first-hand information about the condition of the hospital, adding that there is need to improve the facilities in the hospital so as to make people have easy access to basic medical care.
With what we've seen, quite frankly, there's need for massive improvements, to the facility, from physical structure to personnel.
Makinde noted that health is one of the major pillars of his administration, and he also said it's needed to be focused on as health is wealth, stressing that majority of the state hospitals are operating below expectations.
Look at their state, and some of them I'll have to go physically by myself. I don't want, third-hand information which may or may not be.
The governor promised to improve the staff welfare and make the hospital environment habitable for both workers and patients. Moving on now to Ogun State, where the governor of that state, Prince Dapo Abiodun, has listed the State General Hospital, Ilaro, as one of one out of the 3 specialist hospitals tagged Hospital of Excellence to be constructed in the 3 geopolitical zones of the state by his government. The governor stated this while on inspection tour of the hospital to assess what needs to be done to make the health sector vibrant. Correspondent John Felix reports that the governor expressed dismay on the state of the facility at the hospital, just as he described most of the facilities in the hospital as outdated and obsolete with an unconducive working environment. He, however, promised to revamp the hospital as soon as possible.
So we must, declare an emergency on these state hospitals so that they can begin to render the service that they need to render to our people, because most of our people cannot afford anywhere else but this place. So that's why I'm here. I will immediately set up a team to come back and take a look at this place, and in conjunction with the PS Health Management Board and the other members of the health team in the state.
Now, staying in Ogun State, but to the agricultural sector, in a bid to make the state the food basket of the nation and ensure food security, the state government says 40,000 hectares of land would be made available to enable farmers engage all-season farming. Ogun State Governor Prince Dakpo Abiodun stated this at the first interactive session between the governor and farmers in the state, where he revealed that 1 hectare would be given to a farmer to cultivate. He said his administration, apart from providing focused and qualitative leadership that would encourage public-private partnership, will also place priority on agriculture as one of its enablers to ensure that the state produces enough food to feed its people, neighboring states and countries. Speaking further, he said the state was strategically located with large land suitable for planting rice, maize, cassava and other food and cash crops, adding that rural roads would be rehabilitated to ease movement of farm produce.
We have the states, we have the land, we have the people, we have the geography. Agriculture is the #1 pillar. We must ensure that we do everything we can to feed ourselves, to feed our neighbors, to employ our youth, and to make money from this process.
You're watching the news on Galaxy TV. It's now time for us to bring you stories that made headlines last week.
These are the reports which made headlines last week. Senator Elisha Abo, representing Adamawa North Senatorial Zone, was on Monday arraigned in the Zuba Chief Magistrate Court, Abuja, for allegedly assaulting a nursing mother. The embattled senator pleaded not guilty to a 2-count charge of criminal force and assault leveled against him. The police prosecution counsel, James Idachaba, told the court the matter was reported by one Mrs. Wamate Oshimibibra at the Maitama police station in Abuja on May 14. Idachaba said the matter was later transferred to the Criminal Investigation and Intelligence Department of the FCT Police Command for discreet investigation. He alleged that the senator committed the offense on May 11, adding that Abo slapped the complainant forcefully without provocation. Idachaba pointed that the offense contravened the provisions of sections 262 and 263 of the Penal Code. However, counsel to the defendant, Adebite Adeniyi, made an oral application for the bail of the defendant, citing section 36 subsection 5 of the 1999 Constitution. The magistrate, Abdullahi Leila, said the court had evaluated the applications and was convinced that granting the defendant bail would not in any way hurt the prosecution. Leha admitted Abo to bail in the sum of 5 million naira with 2 reliable sureties in like sum, ordering that the sureties must present valid means of identification and must reside within the court's jurisdiction. Hearing of the case was thereafter adjourned till July the 22nd, 2019. The police on Tuesday said 2 of its officers were shot by suspected members of the Shiite Islamic Movement of Nigeria, IMN. Witnesses also said at least 2 of the police officers guarding the National Assembly complex were shot. The Shiites demand the release of the leader Ibrahim El-Zakzaky, who has been detained by the government since December 2015. Over 340 Shiite members were killed by the army in December 2015 after the army accused the Islamic sect of blocking a road. On Tuesday, Anjuguri Manza, the Abuja police spokesperson, said 40 Shiite protesters were arrested. The FCT Police Command also foiled a violent move by members of the El-Zakzaky Islamic Movement of Nigeria to forcefully invade the National Assembly. The group, which started its activity, camouflaged in a peaceful procession, and it became violent as they tried to force their way into the National Assembly. Police operatives on the ground, however, reportedly acted proactively, professionally, and used minimum force to disperse the unruly protesters. The Senate on Wednesday asked its other committee probing the recent Rivers State explosion to extend the scope to last week's pipeline explosion, which occurred in Ijegun area of Lagos State. The Red Chamber took the decision at plenary in view of the similarities and occurrence of the two incidents within the same period. These were part of the resolutions of the Upper Legislative Chamber on a motion on the Ijegun pipeline's explosion moved by Senator Solomon Adiola. The Senate also directed its Committee on Petroleum Resources, when constituted, to intensify efforts on the petroleum industry bill to discourage vandalization of oil pipelines. The senators observed a minute's silence in honor of Nigerians who lost their lives in the Ijegun explosion. They also mandated the Senate's leadership to send a condolence letter to the people and government of Lagos State over the disaster. They also urged the National Emergency Management Agency (NEMA) and the Federal Ministry of Health to urgently come to the aid of families in distress at Ijegun and environs. The lawmakers also directed the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation and the Pipeline and Product Marketing Company to improve the security architecture for their pipelines. The agency were also asked to reconsider the engagement of communities and local vigilantes in such architecture. President Muhammadu Buhari on Thursday forwarded the name of the acting Chief Justice of Nigeria, Ibrahim Tanko Muhammad, to the Senate for approval as the substantive CJN. The letter was read at plenary by Senate President Ahmed Lawan. The National Judicial Council had on Wednesday said that it has recommended to the President the appointment of Muhammad as a substantive Chief Justice of Nigeria. The NJC said this in a statement by its Director, Information, Soji Oye. Justice Muhammad was sworn in as the acting CJN on January 2015, immediately after the then CJN, Justice Walter Onoge, was suspended by Buhari. Lawan also read another letter from Buhari seeking the approval of the Red Chamber to enable him to appoint 15 special advisors. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo on Friday lampooned interventionist agencies including the Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC) and the Ministry of Niger Delta for failing to meet the development and expectations of the Niger Delta people. Regardless, he said that President Muhammadu Buhari-led federal government would double efforts to enhance the fiscal development of the oil-bearing communities in the region before the end of their second-term tenure. The vice president stated this on Friday when he paid a courtesy call on the Ebenanowe King of Ogulaga Kingdom, His Royal Majesty Captain Joseph Timiya I, at Obotobo in Burutu local government area of Delta State. He lamented that despite the huge resources that the federal government invests in the NDDC, a Ministry of Niger Delta, and other agencies in the region, the oil-bearing communities are still gasping for fiscal development. Osinbajo said that to meet the infrastructural gap in the area, the federal government would sit with the state government to determine areas in critical need for development, so as to fast-track development in the oil-rich region.
You're watching the news on Galaxy TV. Now it's time for us to bring you stories on the international scene.
Welcome to the international scene. The United Nations has called for the dismantling of all detention centers for refugees in Libya, saying the facilities are not fit to house migrants. The appeal comes nearly 2 weeks after more than 50 people were killed in an airstrike on a holding facility in the Libyan capital, Tripoli. The victims were mostly Africans attempting to reach Europe on boat after fleeing poverty and conflict. The UN Refugee Agency has called the facilities in the centers awful. Thousands of migrants are being held in dire conditions in government-run detention centers across Libya. The recent airstrike on one of them during fighting in Tripoli has revealed how dangerous these facilities can be. The UN Refugee Agency said the centers should be dismantled immediately and the detainees freed into the surrounding communities. The agency said it is ready to help support them there. The UN has been critical of European policies that favor returning to Libya migrants who were rescued at sea, stating that the country isn't safe for them. Some 120 migrants were inside a hangar at the Tajoura detention center when it was hit on the 3rd of July, with women and children among the 50 fatalities. The UN-backed government, led by Prime Minister Fayez El-Sarraj, accused the self-styled Libyan National Army (LNA) of carrying out an airstrike on the center. The LNA said it had attacked a pro-government camp near the center, and pro-government forces had fired shells in response, hitting the migrant center by accident. A UN official later said the attack could constitute a war crime. Libya has been torn by violence and division since longtime ruler Muammar Gaddafi was deposed and killed in 2011. Still on the international scene, President Emmanuel Macron spoke of the importance of common European defense and security on Sunday as he marked Bastille Day celebrations in France. In his July 14 message, he said, quote, "Not since the end of the Second World War has Europe been so necessary." His message was posted online as he prepared to host another world leaders at the traditional military parade in Paris. On Saturday, Macron announced the launch of a new space military command that would eventually be part of the country's air force. European leaders, including German Chancellor Angela Merkel, joined Macron at the event. Attractions included high-tech military gear such as drones, miniature autonomous vehicles, soldiers armed with anti-drone guns, and what looked like a flying soldier, a man swishing in the air on a flyboard, drawing cheers from the leaders and spectators. There were no visible yellow vest protesters as the parade began, but there were reports of isolated clashes between protesters and police and Boeing as Macron passed by. Eric Drouet, one of the original leaders of the movement, was pictured on social media being removed from a viewing barrier by police. Prefecture officials later said 152 arrests were made in total. Bastille Day commemorates the storming of the Bastille prison in 1789 by a mob of Parisians during the opening stages of the French Revolution. The anniversary became a national day in 1880 and is marked by parades, speeches, parties and fireworks. And finally, on the international scene, dozens of people have been killed as monsoon floods ripped through Nepal, Bangladesh and northeastern India. At least 47 people have lost their lives in Nepal as torrential rains hit the region, the government said in a statement. 29 people are reportedly missing among flood and landslides, while 28 have been injured. Heavy rains have also caused death in overcrowded Rohingya refugee camps in Bangladesh. More than 1 million people have been affected by rising flood waters as part of the seasonal monsoon. Heavy rains are expected to continue in the coming days. Police have rescued more than 1,100 people from across Nepal, affecting some 10,385 households. A family of 3 were killed when part of the house collapsed in the capital, Kathmandu. Bangladesh's Cox's Bazar, where more than 1 million Rohingya refugees are encamped after fleeing a military crackdown in Myanmar, has been hit by at least 58.5 centimeters of rain this month, According to the country's meteorological department, hundreds of landslides since April has killed at least 10 people in the camps, including 2 Rohingya children in the last week. The Brahmaputra River, which flows through India, Bangladesh and China, has burst its banks, swamping more than 1,800 villages in India's northeastern Assam state. The monsoon season lasts from June to September and wreaks havoc across South Asia every year. More than 1,200 people died in the region amid storms and landslides last year, while India's Kerala faced its worst floods in almost a century. And that's it on the international scene.
Welcome back. Entertainment Dex is on standby with news from the entertainment industry.
Another one, Nigerian music superstar Burna Boy is on a winning spree as he cups another music awards. His latest win at the 2019 Ghana Entertainment Awards USA comes just a couple of days after his highly celebrated BET Awards win as Best International Act. The band in Mokobai featuring Slinkies, B.O.U.Q.I. Victory Song featuring Angelo. Stevie Wonder will have a kidney transplant later this year, he has announced. The singer told the crowd about his medical condition as he finished his set at British Summer Time Hyde Park. Actor Cameron Boyce, who starred in the Disney Channel's television shows and series, has died at age 20. A spokesperson for his family told CNN that Boyce died in his sleep after a seizure resulting from an ongoing medical condition. Mr. 2K on why he told his abuse story.
So me, I kept quiet. I didn't tell anybody about it because she told me not to, and she was also protecting me in school as well. You know, she was my school mother, and she was also the senior prefect as well. So basically, I said what happened, but you know, we good. And then after some times, you know, she has to say, "Oh, I'm sorry for whatever happened."
After you posted, yeah.
No. She's not a social media person though, but she's very bright. But she's a big lady right now, you know.
Tim Godfrey featuring SMJ and Emeka in EU. We'll Be Brothers Forever. That's the chorus of Kanye West's new song with Charlie Wilson titled Brothers. Damini Ogulu, otherwise known as Burna Boy, is only a few weeks or days to the release of his next studio album. The singer has completed working on the album project and is ready to put it out. Like we already know, Burna Boy's forthcoming album is titled African Giant. He recently shared the album release date via Twitter. A Lagos High Court has urged Obi Franklin and his estranged wife Lillian Nasser to settle their differences and forget divorce. One celebrity who appears to have a very blunt and severe approach towards rapists in the society is Nice, so he says he will kill one if he comes across any of those accused of it. Rip Torn, the US actor best known for his roles in Men in Black and The Larry Sanders Show, has died aged 88. The Human Rights Foundation is applauding Nicki Minaj's decision to back out of a concert in Saudi Arabia. Minaj was scheduled to headline the Jeddah World Fest, a music and performance festival, on July 18. Veteran Nigerian rapper Lutana Udezwe, popularly known as Big Lo, is down with kidney disease. The rapper came into limelight early 2004 when he featured Too Short in his hit single Delicious. Niniola releases visuals for Brother Sadiq. Did you have to put me love? Skooky, 3 Busa. Samuel L. Jackson reportedly has joined the cast of the Saw reboot. Jackson is to play Chris Rock's father in the latest iteration from the Lionsgate and Twisted Pictures horror franchise, as told by Deadline Report. Country singer Garth Brooks may be coming to play at a dive bar near you. Brooks announced on Facebook that he will be playing a surprise 7-seated dive bar tour inspired by his new song with Blake Shelton, Dive Bar. Organizers of the Africa Film Academy Awards has announced that a high-profile ceremony ahead of the 2019 edition will hold in Ghana. The announcement was made in a recent tweet by the Ama's official Twitter handle. Funke Akindele has started airing her new web series Ayetoro Town, a spin-off from her popular television series Jennifer's Diary, and it's hilarious. Rank Queens tells the story of a rift that ensued between a mother and her daughter over influences of social media. Directed by Lancelot Imasuen, the Rank Queens also features Susan Peters, Kunle Remy, Muyi Olutayo, and Idak Williams. Produced by Muyi Olutayo, actor Kevin Spacey has been questioned in the US by the Metropolitan Police over sex assault allegations in the UK, according to the Variety magazine. Where Media streaming service is developing a drama series titled Crime Farm with Nicole Kidman attached to executive produce. Sapped in Money remix featuring Wizkid. Eriga in More Cash Out featuring Young Six and Sammy. Akporo in Biggie God. One thing that hasn't changed since the royal wedding is the friendship between Priyanka Chopra and Meghan Markle. In a recent interview with LE UK, the Bollywood star praised the Duchess of Sussex, acknowledging her important voice worldwide. The first trailer for Disney's Mulan live-action remake is here. Fans got a preview from the upcoming film during the World Cup final game.
And with that, we conclude our news bulletin at this time. But for more updates and latest news, visit our website at www.galaxytvonline.com or subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/GalaxyTV Nigeria. You can follow, interact with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/GalaxyTV or tweet at us at GalaxyTV. Don't forget to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at Official Galaxy TV. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live update and comment. And that's the news. On behalf of the production team, I am Kelly Egiga. Thank you for watching.